You probably clicked on this video thinking here is another clickbait YouTuber who gets views by fooling people using his clickbait thumbnail. Well, you might be right, but if you don't believe that this standard card is a better DMF than Epic Xabi Alonso, make sure to watch the full video because I will be revealing the real truth about eFootball. If you play this game regularly, you have probably seen people who have squads like this. Yes, people who max out their players to the overall. Each and every player must be 100 or above, they say. They spend most of their time on YouTube searching training guides to make X player reach 101. These types of gamers are often criticized and told that overall is not the best way. Overall is overrated and overhyped. They are told to train their players by stats. Stats matter more than a player's overall rating. Now, I am not saying that this is not true. In fact, I agree. To some extent. Stats is a good way to judge how good a player is. But do stats really tell the full story? In this video, I will be revealing to you an entirely different way of analyzing players. Say hello to player model or player ID. This term is very common among pro players, but it is not known by casual gamers like you and I. Every player in eFootball has his own specific traits that make them unique to others. This is known as player ID. It explains why a player performs over or below their stats. Player ID is the physical attributes of a player. Now, do you always wonder why Kevin De Bruyne cards don't perform like his stats suggest? I mean, look at this nominating contract card. He has amazing stats. He has insane passing, good dribbling. He has great stats. But compared to Jude Bellingham's nominating contract, they are very similar. Then, why does Bellingham outperform Kevin De Bruyne? This is because De Bruyne has one of the worst player ID for an attacking midfielder in eFootball. To determine a player ID, we use these two criteria. This little blue box consists of the player's physical attributes. On the other hand, you can see these values: leg coverage, arm coverage, and the rest. These are derived using the values of the physical attributes. You can look it up for every single player using the eFootball Hub website. Basically, the 6 values below describe the size of the player. The minimum value is 0, the maximum is 14. High leg length improves acceleration. Leg coverage, which depends on player height and player length, is also very crucial, especially for defenders. It determines the maximum distance a player can affect the ball. Leg coverage is like the radius to which a player can have an impact on the ball. That might be through interceptions, blocks, or even scoring from crosses. Arm coverage depends on player height, arm length, and shoulder width. It is important especially when defending because it helps disrupt an attacker's run and engage in duels with them. It is also important for goalkeepers as it affects the range that they can make saves. Torso collision depends on player height, shoulder width, chest, thigh, and waist size. It is very important for defenders as it helps them in physical duels. Now, enough of these talks. I'm rambling too much. Let's look at some of the best players that have the best player IDs in eFootball in every position. In goal, we have none other than Thibaut Courtois. This card has one of the best, if not the best player ID for a goalkeeper. His base card alone can compete with booster keepers. A standard card of Courtois can perform better than the likes of double booster Oliver Kahn and Iker Casillas. I have double booster Oliver Kahn and Courtois is better than him. I am speaking from experience. Kahn may have the better stats, but Courtois is far superior to him. If you compare their arm coverage, Courtois has 181 cm, which is 11 cm more than Kahn. Another goalkeeper who, in my opinion, is equal to Oliver Kahn is Player of the Week Diogo Costa. His jump height is lower, but he has a slightly better arm coverage. Epic goalkeepers like Peter Cech and Peter Schmeichel are called the best goalkeepers in eFootball, not just because of their stats. Rather, they have the best player ID for goalkeepers in the game. No other goalkeeper can match up to their player IDs. Now, couple that with their stats, wow, they make crazy goalkeepers. Now, let's move on to the defenders. If you have watched my last video, you will see how I praised the new nominating contract Kalidou Koulibaly. This is a card whose stats don't look amazing, but his player ID is outstanding. His player ID is up there with Ronald Araujo big time card. If you didn't sign him, make sure you do ASAP. He has 11 leg length and has great leg coverage, which makes him a great interceptor and blocker. His torso collision is good enough for him to win duels. Next to him in my team is 2023 Player of the Week Dayo Upamecano. He has 14 leg length, amazing arm length, great torso collision. In my opinion, this is the best free card in eFootball. The best free card Konami has ever dropped for us for a defender. If you have this Upamecano card and you are not using him, you are just wasting a huge player. Another defender with great player ID is Antonio Rudiger. He is very tall, like Upamecano. He also has maximum leg length, very good arm length, and overall, he is just an amazing defender. Moving on to the midfielders. The thumbnail of this video showed that standard card of Zakaria is a better defensive midfielder than Xabi Alonso. The stats might show you that Xabi Alonso will be a better defensive midfielder. Well, that might be right, but the real truth in fact is Dennis Zakaria has all the recipes to be a better defensive midfielder than Xabi Alonso epic card, because Dennis Zakaria has one of the best player ID for a defensive midfielder. In contrast, Xabi Alonso cards are one of the worst cards you can use for a defensive midfielder. This is Alonso's player ID. Leg length just 5, arm length also 5, leg coverage just 175 cm, torso collision is also low. Zakaria, on the other hand, leg length 12, arm length 8, leg coverage 187 cm, 12 more than Alonso. The stats might fool you into thinking Alonso is the better defensive midfielder to have, when in reality, a standard card which you can purchase with a few thousand GP is far superior to him. The GOAT defensive midfielder in eFootball has the best player ID for a defensive midfielder. In fact, for a midfielder overall in the game. Look at this player ID, and it belongs to none other than Patrick Vieira. That's why he is the best defensive midfielder you can have in the game. Earlier in the video, I compared KDB to Bellingham. Now, this is not me insulting Kevin De Bruyne, or this is not me trying to say that you should discard every single KDB card you have in the game as he is not good enough. No, this is me just saying that Bellingham is one of the best cards in the game, period. Whether it's his standard card, nominating contract card, or even the player of the week cards, he is just outstanding. He has maximum leg length. He also has great torso collision. He is a complete player. If you use him as an attacking midfielder, he helps you not only in attacks but also defensively because of his player ID. For forwards and strikers, there are a ton of players who have great player ID, like Mbappe, who has maximum leg length, which contributes massively to his speed. Like I already said, high leg length equals high acceleration. No wonder Mbappe is extremely fast. Another player who isn't used a lot is Alexander Isak. He has 12 in leg length, but look at his leg coverage, 188 cm. He is amazing. If only Konami will give us a showtime card of Isak with phenomenal finishing, mamma mia, he is going to be unplayable.